Well, the Bombshell Inspector General's report slamming FBI leadership over the handling of Hillary Clinton's email probe. The Bureau now vowing to fix the culture of political bias within its ranks. Here now to react to the explosive report is former prosecutor Bob Bianchi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Great, Heather.
So there's a lot to go through here, 500 and some pages of material. The most significant thing, let's begin there, that you find in this report.
Well, the most important was the fact that Comey gave this press conference, gave two press conferences, testified before Congress. He is the law enforcement side in the federal government. He is not the person supposed to be making decisions to prosecute or not prosecute. That is a responsibility of the Department of Justice. Right. Yeah. All of our law enforcement authority, all the guns and badges, all the way down to local police agencies have somebody like me, for example, as the prosecutor, a civilian that is in charge of them to avoid these very things. So when Comey got up there and said no reasonable prosecutor would move forward with that case, that may be true, but that wasn't his decision to do that, to give that conference. Now, I can add one thing to this, Heather. It was also striking in the law enforcement community when you give a press conference, and I know this firsthand, there are ethics rules as to what you can do or you not do. You either indict or you don't indict. There's either a case or there isn't. You then don't go into
You don't give the case for indictment and then say, well, we know that she did all this, but we're not going to indict.
Yeah, and by the way, this conduct she did that's outside the criminal world was wrong. Let's flip the script. Let's assume Mueller, for example, were to stand up and give a press conference. That's not his job. That's Rosenstein's job, or somebody Rosenstein appoints from the DOJ. And let's say they say Donald Trump did absolutely nothing wrong, no collusion, which is very possible. However, I find that Donald Trump was a bad guy because he did X, Y, and Z. That would be just as bad. It was a completely inappropriate thing to do.
Let's take a look. This is one of the quotes talking about Jim Comey, and it really was scathing in reference to him. Also, Loretta Lynch, and it says this: Comey's unilateral July 5th announcement you were just talking about was inconsistent with department policy. We found that it was extraordinary, insubordinate for Comey to conceal his intentions from his superiors. We concluded that Comey made a serious error of judgment. And we want to move on to these text messages with the FBI agents. But right there, you know, talking about the problems with Jim Comey, what he did, his decisions, Loretta Lynch, her decisions with the tarmac meeting. But what can possibly happen? There's no, criminal charges moving forward, no suggestion of that, anything.
Okay, well, here, remember, Comey is saying I did this because of the tarmac meeting with Lynch, which she should never have done. And she should have recused herself. But what did she do? She just stand by, hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, let Jim Comey do these things. So I don't think that that's going to rise to the level of the department violation of the media policy to a criminal charge. But I do see problems in one area that no one's really talking about. And it was a little kind of footnote in the report. And that is where apparently people were leaking to the media, dozens of people, and in remuneration for that, in consideration for that, they were getting perks like trips and golf outings.
Golf with us, dinner, movie tickets, premiere tickets.
You are not allowed to accept anything of value when you're in this position. My staff, if they took a cup of coffee for free, and I mean a cup of coffee, you would not have a job. This shows to me a culture of something that's really bad going on in that agency.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing. And that's definitely not supposed to happen within the FBI. And everyone at home, if you get a chance to look at the report, there's a graphic very clearly that shows reporters and all of these FBI agents who were getting kickbacks to give information. But let's move into that, though, because it kind of relates. How in the world does the FBI restore its trust with the American people? And due in part to what you were just discussing, that came out. Also, there was this an additional text message that came out between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, where it goes on to say, you know, where Page says, Trump's not ever going to become president, right? And then you have Peter Strzok saying, no, he won't. We'll stop it. That's really amazing. Plus, there were five FBI agents total who were sending text messages back and forth like this.
And it wasn't just that. There were other people that were on the other side of the camp making commentary about President Trump. The bottom line is I can't imagine, having done political corruption cases myself, being in a room where people are talking negatively about the person that they're investigating. You don't talk negatively about the people you're investigating. You talk about their conduct, not who they are as people. So the the idea that this is going on in this free exchange and no one is stopping it, again, tells me there's a massive cultural problem there, because how much integrity can you have? You can't live in a glass house and throw stones. When you are a prosecutor or you are investigating, it is your responsibility to not do as I say, do as I do.
Exactly.
Your responsibility is to be higher than that, better than the people you prosecute. And,
well, you know, this is just the beginning, because we have to move forward to the Mueller investigation next. Several of these people involved in that, so it does cast some doubt there. And we will have you back.
Okay,
That's right. There's a lot to go through.
Absolutely.
But we're out of time now. Thank you so much, Bob. We appreciate it, as always.